What did I do on my spring break? Oh, nothing out of the ordinary. Spent time with my boys, went to the beach, and reread an approximately 400-page book about comparative mythology. Okay. Out of the ordinary is actually an appropriate term to describe the archetypal path of what the late mythologist Joseph Campbell famously referred to as the hero's journey in best-selling books such as The Hero with a Thousand Faces. That's because the circular story structure of the hero's journey leads the hero out of an ordinary world and into an extraordinary world. And then, because it is circular, it leads the hero back to the ordinary world. Other sets of opposing terms that could conceivably describe these two worlds include conscious and unconscious, natural and supernatural, known and unknown, or common and uncommon. The line that divides these two worlds, Campbell called that the threshold of adventure. As you can see, it divides our circular hero's journey into 3 stages, which Campbell believed were magnifications of the threefold formula for traditional rites of passage: separation, initiation, and return. To make these 3 stages easier to see in the diagram for this mini lesson, I've color-coded separation as blue, initiation as red, and return as purple. Okay, so that gives us 2 worlds, 1 line, and 3 stages. So far, that's not much more than the 5 elements of quest that Thomas Foster talks about in How to Read Literature Like a Professor. But it's about to get much more complicated than that. Because in Campbell's conception of the hero's journey, there are 17, count them, 17 steps that the hero tends to take. There are 5 steps in the separation stage, 6 steps in the initiation stage, and 6 steps in the return stage. The 5 steps in the separation stage, which I have also written in blue, are the call to adventure, the refusal of the call, the supernatural aid, the crossing of the first threshold, and the belly of the whale. The 6 steps in the initiation stage, which I have also written in red, are the road of trials, the meeting with the goddess, the woman as temptress, the atonement with the father, the apotheosis, and the ultimate boon. And the 6 steps in the return stage, which I've also written in purple, are the refusal of the return, the magic flight, the rescue from without, the crossing of the final threshold, the master of both worlds, and the freedom to live. If we boil all that down, though, in essence, a hero leaves an ordinary world, earns a victory over the powerful forces in an extraordinary world, and returns to that ordinary world with the ability to bestow boons on those who live there. A boon, which is an old-fashioned word, is a timely benefit. In The Hero with a Thousand Faces, which was originally published back in 1949, Campbell made a convincing case that this was the unconscious story structure at the heart of almost all hero myths. So much so, he also referred to it as the monomyth. I should note, though, that not all mythologists or folklorists were convinced by Campbell's conception of the hero's journey. However, it has convinced a lot of storytellers, especially screenwriters, that the monomyth is an outstanding structure for contemporary movies. More recently, screenwriting guru Christopher Vogler has explicitly tied the hero's journey to cinematic structure in books such as The Writer's Journey, Mythic Structure for Storytellers and Screenwriters. Because of that conscious application by modern screenwriters of what Campbell claimed was an unconscious structure in ancient myths, 2 of the most commonly cited examples of the hero's journey are actually George Lucas's 1977 movie Star Wars and the Wachowskis' 1999 movie The Matrix. Lucas and Campbell in particular were admitted mutual admirers of each other's work. Lucas cited Campbell's conception of the hero's journey as an inspiration for Star Wars, and Campbell cited Lucas's Star Wars as an embodiment of his monomyth. With that in mind, the article we will read to develop an understanding of the 17 steps in Campbell's conception of the hero's journey is titled The Hero with a Thousand Faces and Its Application to Star Wars. It is written by Dr. Douglas Mann, who is a professor at the University of Western Ontario in Canada. Although Mann's primary example is Lucas's Star Wars, he also shows how almost all of the steps in the monomyth are also present in the Wachowskis' The Matrix. After returning from my spring break, then, this knowledge of the hero's journey is the boon that I am able to bestow on you. So, what did you do with your spring break?